time for looking back. We done. Plus, congratulations. I know you got a son. I heard he looks like, yo, why don't your baby write you? I told you she should visit. That's when she got hype up. What up, what up, what up, this landlord?
It's your man D Banger Thomas, people of the world.
Pop.
This is Be Your Own Therapist. Hard to be tuning in a second. Yo, for all of y'all that fuck with this show, that likes the communication and the dialogue that us brothers have, please support it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public. Make sure on Anchor, YouTube, StreamYard. Make sure y'all participate. Make sure y'all do the only thing you can do. Look at the show, share the show, tell us how you feel. We bugged the fuck out yesterday. We recorded a whole show, and we didn't know that we wasn't recording. So here we are today. We back at it. Like I just said, my brother Hog here being in about another 15, 20 minutes. We was actually talking about it's good because now my man Banger, he don't feel like he rushed, and we ain't rushing him. So you still got your notes on deck?
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know that.
Yeah. Well, you can introduce. We was talking about Dr. Claude Anderson. Let us know because you the one put us on to the assignment. So
Right. So basically how it all started though was um maybe like last week or what have you. Hog had called me. He might have been on his break and he was sitting with two older gentlemen and he was like, yo, did you know Willie Lynch was a black man? I was like, nah, that's ill. So then he passed the phone over to one of the older gentlemen, and then he started breaking everything down. He didn't give it specifically. He was like 85% sure basically, but he was like, check out Dr. Claude Anderson, inappropriate behavior. I was like, all right, no doubt. And that whole situation, that
I
connection and being able to get access to this information like really sparked something within my brain. Like
mhm.
you feel me? Just as far as like it all made sense to me. Like everything makes sense to me now. And
Great.
he gives it clear, concise, and accurate as far as like outside of the history that we were taught in school, outside of what we thought we may have known or how we may have thought we knew it, our parents, all of that, because this is generational history. Like, you feel me? So he breaks down the history from slavery. He gives you like, the mindset, like the economic side. He breaks down how our communities have suffered and what it is to build a community. So the notes and everything, it's like a series, man, like a
Yeah.
recap series and everything, because to be able to build on it, because Willie Lynch is within this, like everything that how they buried us alive is in this. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's all part of it, man.
It was crazy as it sparked a conversation because what we said we was gonna have. I said I was working on this film, and the film was When We Were Kings. And listening to Dr. Claude Anderson, he gave me the whole blueprint, like I was saying yesterday, of everything we needed to put this film together. Because he explained, not only are we native blacks, D Banger gonna get deep into that later on because I know that's one of the topics that he really was on. But
And
anyway,
and that's even
how
ill
all of
too.
us, how everybody in the world comes from Africa.
Yo, bro.
Fact,
I
everybody.
yo, bro, I learned through a class that I took at Brooklyn College, bro, that the oldest, skeleton remains of human form that they found was in Africa to prove civilization derived from there. That's one, bro. The second was how they knew it was human because of the head size. Boom. That's two. The third, it was a female, bro, and they named her Lucy, bro. Word to mommy, and I believe it, bro.
That's
I
crazy.
believe it, bro. I'm not saying I said it.
He
And and
also
and Go ahead.
I'm sorry, not because I want to
Nah,
make
you
this point.
good.
He
Yeah.
also made a point, something that we think about today, and this shit hit me like just kind of like right now, but we said it yesterday, but it hit me how strong it was just now. He told us on how basically we don't understand, but black people started slavery. We didn't start it for the same reasons or we didn't start it on the same levels as they took it and how they made it manipulate us, but we started it on the same type of level that we on now. The same type of Instagram and all. We started it on a boasting level
All
to
right. So
show
check it.
off.
On that note, I'll go into the first half of this. So basically, the definition of race is a group being in competition. All right. So that's how we getting into the whole black and white race. We're
And,
gonna start that off from the top.
and
All
then letting
right.
you know black and white only because these are the only two races that existed in the beginning of time. Now everything else was added on as we go. I just wanted to
And
put
it's
that part.
yeah, and it's really still the only thing that really truly exists at the end of the day, like in a broad
Yeah,
spectrum, the black race and the white race. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else is in between. Racism applies to a group. Yo, what's up, Hog?
Yo, what's
what's
happening,
going on,
Ken?
bro?
Everything
Ra-
smooth.
ra- Racism applies to a group. All right. And basically, this all started with learning how to compete and survive. And it started in Africa. All right. Now, in the year of 1441, there was this Portuguese um, dude by the name of Henry the Navigator. He was the first one that traveled around the coast. Okay, pardon me. First of all right, not the first one, but this is the one we talking about. So basically, he was one of the ones that traveled around the coast of Africa, whatever. He snatched up, however, how many ever at first, and he gifted the Pope slaves. He gifted some slaves to the Pope. All right. So the Pope, after a period of time, or however long it was, he awarded he awarded Henry the Navigator 300 miles of coastland of West Africa. Now, this coastland of West Africa, it didn't belong to the Pope or the Henry the Navigator for the Pope to give it away. This is how ill this all is. Like, this is really ill. And then think about it. This is the remnants, and this is the remnants, the beginning of the white supremacy. And we talking about it from the aspect of the Catholic Church Pope Vatican status. This is ill. So the Pope declares in 1487, where all the slaves from 1441 to 1487 that have been gifted, and then he awarded the 300 miles of wasteland, coastland rather, pardon me, of West Africa to Henry the Navigator. By 1487, the Pope declares the Pope the Pope declares slavery to be a legitimate enterprise. It's a Catholic Church declaration. From 1500 to 1650, 5 million blacks were shipped and shipped or what have you to Central
Traffic.
America.
Now say
From
what years
15
this was for 1500
from
to
from 1500 to 1650,
to
five
1650. Now remember
5
the.
million. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry,
So
go ahead.
150
Five
years.
5 million blacks just to Central America alone. That's
Now
just to
that
Central America.
now that's how many years we just said?
That's like
That's
what 150,
1500,
right?
1500 to 1650. That's
1500.
150,
so
right?
that means we were
150.
enslaving our people for 115 years,
Nah,
116
nah,
years
pardon.
before they knew
Nah,
on
pardon.
ways because
Nah,
it didn't
nah,
start. All
nah,
right, go
hold
ahead.
on. No. This is the Catholic Church doing this.
But
It
who
ain't
gave them the
us,
slaves?
nobody.
But who gave them the slaves?
The Catholic Church. All right. 1441, Henry the Navigator, Portuguese dude. He gifted the Pope slaves. So he
Okay,
had been traveling around Africa or whatever.
all
He
right.
snatched up some slaves, sent them over there, went to the Pope, gifted the Pope some slaves. He did
Nah,
that,
but
obviously. that was a power move for him, obviously. Because he wanted to obviously get in the good graces
But
or the favor of the
But
Pope.
But
but
what
but
you're not
but
saying
La-
is who
but
graced him,
Lance said,
who graced
yeah.
him the slaves. You're not letting it be known that we were the one that gave our people up. Like we were enslaving our people first, and we're the ones that gave them to them.
Right. Well, all right. So yeah. However, whichever way, we'll go back to research who Henry connected with
No, all right, I'm sorry.
inland on Africa
Mhm.
to see how that was going. And I get what you're saying. You're basically saying, not putting words, but basically culturally, the remnants of slavery existed culturally
Ex-
prior to it being a legitimate enterprise.
Indeed,
So we agree on that culturally, and it still exists to this day culturally. All right,
indeed.
but when we break it down to like the real remnants of this evil, because
Hmm.
it's all evil. This is the evil part of it. Now
Hmm.
we going from culturally and what we do systematically and as a society at one point to this, and this is evil. So
Hmm.
this is how I'm taking it, in my personal opinion, nor narrating rather. So Henry the Navigator, 1441, gifted the Pope the slaves. The Pope then awarded him 300 miles of coastland off of West Africa, which it didn't belong to the Pope or
Hmm.
this dude, Henry the Navigator. That's what bugs me out. 1487, 1487, Pope declared slavery to be a legitimate enterprise, Catholic Church declaration. So, boom. So, as far as America, as definitely America, right? So, we know where it's coming from. So, he breaks down 4 points. He breaks down indebtedness, religious persecution, prisoner of war, and color. So those with me remembering correctly are like the levels, obviously, of how they buried us under the levels of slavery at that point. Indebtedness, religious persecution, prisoner of war, and color. So boom.
Hmm.
So we know the color definitely stuck. So then we have now, hold up. So this must be, so this is when he went back, I think. It had to have been because
So what you're explaining now is when they actually made slave legal, these were the terms that you can have a slave under. If he was, repeat that, the four acts.
all right, so the list is indebtedness.
So if you was in debt to someone, you were
Two is
able to become a slave.
two is religious persecution.
If religiously they persecuted you, you were able to become a slave. A,
Three
a
is
war,
prisoner.
a war of crime, a prisoner of crime, meaning in whatever in war you didn't suit who you were supposed to, and he decides to send you over. You can be a slave in your color.
And the number four was color.
So it's fair to say if you was black, you was a slave regardless. That was already one of the. You was pretty much in debt because we came out of slavery, right?
Yo, bro, this is what they did. This is what they did. They sat. He like we say them as a whole, but like the conglomerate, they sat
Hmm.
over there on the throne and they basically pointed the finger at us as a people and
Hmm.
said, "Yeah, we gonna make them the bottom. Like the first shall be last, and the last shall be first." That's like that prophecy right there, basically. Like, yeah, okay, so that's the target. This how we gonna get them. Because this is all right. Yeah, I didn't want to get off. I didn't want to start
My, my
going off or
point was,
whatever.
my point was, we gave them the blueprint on how to enslave us, and they just got malicious with it and got uh, because we still do the same things that we was doing in Africa when they gave up slaves. We still a front on our man and send him over there. Now he got to work for you. This, that, and the third. Yeah, and he ain't lit no more. This, you feel me? So we still do this. You call
Yeah,
yourself the king of the crew. You know you play this way and this, that, and third. And whoever don't roll with, he don't get the roll tonight. That's, you feel me? He on punishment, but that, you feel me?
that's a fact.
Amongst
That's
our
where it
people,
all came
meaning that
from.
that's where slavery came from, and we still do that amongst our people to each other.
And that's that sick psychological warfare thing, like you know what I'm saying? To the because people, yeah, like that. It makes perfect sense though. That's why this really like everything like really resonated with my spirit. the whole like I'm looking forward to getting home, and I'm only saying, you know what I'm saying, to be able to refresh on it again. Like that's
Hmm.
the type of thing. Like that's like that's like that's like brain food, consistent brain food, like how Eda Great used to say. Like you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
didn't
that's
really, I didn't catch it. Did he say if Willie Lynch was actually a black man? No,
Willie Lynch came from Jamaica. I'm
that
gonna get to
doesn't make
that
him a
part.
black man. But does that mean
He
he was?
he was a black man from Jamaica, man.
We all seen Mr.
He wasn't
Anderson.
he wasn't a cracker coming from Jamaica. Like he was a black man that came from Jamaica, man.
We all seen
And that's what
Shadas. That's
set it
white
off.
people over there.
Yeah, nah, but
I was just.
what set it off though, that's what made him stand out because he
Mhm.
had so many slaves as a black man. That's what set it all off. So it wasn't really him, it's what they it's what they indoctrinated, took from him.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? But he did implement. I gotta get to that part.
But it's crazy how we was doing it just to like stunt on niggas. Like, and even when you see it in old movies and series that they try to bring back, like they'll show us little bits of how it started, even with Kings. And when Kings is having a right hand and a right hand, all of a sudden the family switch up and they make this nigga a slave and he done fought to bring the king. You see all of that shit like firsthand from all of these stories that they change around and redirect and send out. So it all does make sense. And I said it doesn't make sense that anybody was going to be able to bring down a plan to break us down unless it was one of
Can
us. Or they,
I got a question. Yo, Benga.
Yo, yo,
Yo, check it. So yeah, so this is my question. What did it say like what turned Willie Lynch up to be so advantageous to, you know what I'm saying, to
malicious.
get so many slaves? Was he like clocking? Was he banking off what the Portuguese and people was getting? Was he getting money? Was he getting kickback, or was he just like a straight trader? Did it
I,
kind of clear bring
so
any clarity
so
to that?
so
They ain't call him
basically,
an Uncle Tom. What they call him? What they call him? It wasn't Uncle Tom's. It's a different name for them. Said
and then
Uncle Tom.
all
Nah,
and then we and then also
I
as far as like that terminology of Uncle Tom, they flipped that on us too because Uncle
Yeah,
Tom was a true rebel. He wasn't even no sellout for the cracker. He was
yeah.
a rebel.
It's something. It's that start with an S, like Sanskro, some shit like that. That they actually call like a poo poo.
So basically what it's saying about Willie, and we going I'm going this is going to trigger us to do further research. But Willie Lynch came from Jamaica. He was running a seasoning school for slaves in south of Jamaica. And he heard, okay,
What was going on over here in America, and said, "Let me teach you
something
how."
something triggered him to get to America. Like he right. So that's the part we going to get back to. But he got to Virginia, 1712, or around that time, right? We know that's when the letter was, or what have you, right?
Yeah,
But I do know that what he said was when he got here with the seasoning school for slaves from south of Jamaica, and he had so many slaves here. All right, one of his slaves, there was a white man that noticed what was going on and was paying attention and spoke to one of the slaves, and one of the slaves told him to the effect of like like what's up with this situation? He telling me he owe me for life. Like, do I have to stay with him for life, or the
yeah,
white man inquired of the slave, like, how long did he say you got to stay? Something to that effect.
yeah.
And we gonna come back to that, right? But that's how it basically started, and that's how they really capitalized. Basically, it was like, oh, what's going on that this nigga got all these slaves? What are we not doing right, or what is off? This shouldn't be happening because there's a couple of them that he mentions. There's a couple of freemen. Well, I think that's like a different. Yeah, I didn't want to get off. We got to go to that part because later on, there's a couple of freemen that he mentions that organizes groups of slaves. But hey, what's up? Oh, I hear you beatboxing over there. There you go. Turn the mic on.
Get out of here.
he ran on. He made his cameo.
It stole my money.
He was making his cameo appearance right there. He was.
Listen, I'm sorry, Banger.
Nah, you good. That was right on point. You know,
I ain't got
he doing this
beatbox.
thing. Yeah, he's doing this thing. Yeah. So he had like 100 or better. You know, and that's what really stood out to them.
But like you said, we got to figure out more about him, because what made him want to come over here and tell these people on how to enslave us and fuck us up for 300 and plus years? What was his incentive with doing that? Like
Yeah.
that's what I need to know with that, because that didn't make no sense whatsoever. That's like, what would, if I'm in Jamaica, regardless of how many slaves I got in Jamaica and what's going on in Jamaica, I'm not gonna come to America to show you niggas how to manipulate my people for 300 years. I don't think that I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, we gonna definitely
Papo, don't hit me with your
I took your
your science. Tell us it.
I took your $2.
All right, you cool. Go in the living room.
I got your $2.
All right.
What did you
Yeah.
say?
He got my $2. He took the cash when he left.
Yeah, like tell him that he got to talk about that. Talk about he never existed. That's some other information from somebody else. Like
you got to stop giving us this third party. You got to look up your own info, bro. You got to do your
don't do
own
that from
homework.
somebody that's calling the history a hoax, because they always call our history a hoax, my nigga. They always do that. Dr. Carl Anderson, like, this is a professor, my nigga. Like,
now they're gonna tell you that they made this man up. I believe
he's credited. He's credited, my nigga. Like, nah, he's valid, my nigga.
I could believe that maybe they had a white man in his place, meaning he's not the one that actually spoke. Like, this was probably somebody taking what he like he was basically bamboozled out of it. I can see that happening. Him having a method and him telling it to his master or somebody who's close to his master, and them actually transferring it and being able to manipulate it like they did everything else. I could see that happening. I can't see him just coming to America willingly and saying, you know what, man? Y'all hanging my niggas, man. I ain't gonna teach you how to hang my niggas. I'm gonna show you how to do it better. I'll show you how to fuck their minds up, be for 300 years. Why are you doing this?
Money.
But it couldn't have been no money, no amount of money in those days to make a nigga make that decision, unless you gave me land, and he ain't got no land.
But the money back then was power.
Gold.
If it was gold, his family tree would still exist. If they gone, the nigga we ain't hearing about no Lynch. Any nigga named Lynch in this world, we gonna do something too. You can't walk around with no name Lynch. I don't care if you cousin Lynch, you Uncle Lynch. Nah, man, that ain't right. Put your mic on, Hog. Yeah, I hear you.
Y'all still can't hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, I said they not low out here. No lynches is low.
Yeah, man, that's not going on. Papo, you can't just put that out there, man. You know you you got the theories when it comes down to this, so you got to feed in more with that. You got to tell us a little bit more about that.
You talking to me? Where everybody went? What happened, man?
Yeah. They said you gotta come with it.
Come with what?
Come with the you know what I mean? The
what
foundation. The foundation underneath the.
Oh, what you saying, man? You just pulling out, you know.
No, I just seen. I was trying to find.
Nah, you've been saying that for about a week. That Willie Lynch after he didn't exist. So I want to know where you.
No. I was trying to find out his nationality, and then that came up. So I texted. That's all.
Vega said his nationality. He was a Jamaican.
Willie I was trying to figure out was that true or where was he born, and that came up. That's all.
Yo, give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I gotta do something real fast.
You straight? What's going on, Hog?
Yeah, everything's smooth, man. I just popped on right before you. Really, I was out running around and you know
I hear you. Me too, man.
trying to duck in, see what the people talking about. Say peace to the world, peace to my brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still talking about that. They still talking about what's his name, Will and them.
It's so funny because I was just watching it it's on Hulu, right? And I just fast forward to that part, and I thought they was gonna cut it out. They they didn't cut it out, yo.
Nah, that's history, boy. That's documented history. They can't. They
What's
can't.
going was so whack though. All he said was G.I. Jane 2. I thought he was, you know what I mean?
That's what I was. That's what I was saying. I'm telling you,
And everybody was laughing.
man. Look, man. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that's so what you feel like that.
Yeah, everybody was laughing.
I don't know what turned my man up. He not even hot like that.
And if that was your wife, you see how far apart they look like they wasn't even sitting together.
Oh,
Or
who we
maybe that's
talking
how the
about?
seats was.
You talking about Will again?
Yeah, it looked like they was sitting like far apart from each other.
Yeah, but y'all make it seem like they got like the best marriage to be all covered up
No,
next to
I'm
each
just
other.
saying. I ain't about
No,
to
but
be
I'm
taking up
saying,
for nobody. Nah.
my nigga, that was still his wife for one, but then for two, they in an open marriage.
Yeah.
You bring that type of energy into your life and your marriage, you ain't gonna be all
Nah,
hurt
it's.
or
I think the way everybody laughed, kind of, you know what I mean. And then she, so it just, he like, nah, I can't let this go down.
yo, all of that is deeper than rap, man. I don't even see how people could even or try to figure out someone else's brain. That nigga cracked. I I take it as like part of him cracking. I think that laugh was part of the crack. He made his mind up. You feel me? When he started laughing, that's when he snapped. Then he got right up and took off like he had
I
already.
think,
And then
yeah, it
plus,
was.
and then plus the information that I had received. This man, Chris, he has it's some type of disorder that they characterized it, right? But um he suffered trauma as a child and everything, right? Like we all have, but he's been diagnosed with a certain type of disorder. And this dude, he knows him personally. He knows stuff about old boy. So he knew what he wouldn't do and would do. That's how you know when you could try somebody. He wasn't that off that he didn't know whether or not Chris was going to do something back to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's what makes him a sucker to me. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all of that. He took advantage of that. That was I heard the analogy not too long ago. We may have said it. That was that black privilege realm right there. Him
Mm-hmm.
being caught up in his black privilege in Hollywood because he got so many of them on his side. He's connected to so much power. Think about it. So in his mind, that's that white supremacist shit. In his mind, even though he a black man in our face, he on his white supremacist shit. That was some oppressing. He was
Mm-hmm.
oppressing that man. Think about it, man. The shit is deep. It's psychological, man. That's in my opinion. And everybody got one of them. So whatever. What the fuck do I know?
Nah. Damn, man. Yeah.
But I know that was just unfortunate, and I know it's a whole lot that spiraled out of that because it was something that they didn't want us to focus on. For one, all these black people focused on this, but they ain't focused on the first black woman getting appointed to the Supreme Court. But they talk about Will Smith smacking the shit out of Chris Rock. They ain't talking about how we have a president that
Oh, that movie.
basically
Dang.
he okay, hold up. I took them notes. That was ill because I want to tell y'all what I did today. But we have a president in office right now that, hold up, I want to say it exactly. I want to say it exactly how I took the notes because the way that they said it was fire. And people are crazy for this shit. Um, I'm gonna get it though. Give me 1 second. I'm over here looking for it because, and then you probably already know it, Pop. As far, president, we got a president right now that created the crime bill that birthed mass incarceration. That's who these people, that's who our quote unquote people and other people put in power. The president that created the crime bill that birthed mass incarceration. So if niggas don't love their slave master, I don't know who does. And that's crazy. That's crazy to put somebody like that in power. He already had power, but you feel me? Our people, along with his people, helped him to get to the top of the pyramid. And this is what he did. And everybody running around, oh, he better than Trump. Thank God Trump ain't in there. Like it's really bananas, bro. Think about the analogy of that, bro. You, not you personally, but our people helped to put in power a white man that created the crime bill that birthed mass incarceration, that basically destroyed our families, played a part in disrupting our family, disrupting our communities, and everything. Yeah, that's what they did.
The media put him in place.
What are you talking about?
Brainwash.
Yo, bro, how you saying the
Media.
media did it and people left their houses and went to the voting polls to vote for the
That's what I'm saying. The
didn't do
media.
that. No, they did it because we all have free will and choices. Did you go vote for them?
Hell no, I ain't vote.
Okay. That's
I
what
never
I'm about to
voted a
say.
day in my life.
Oh, all right, so we do have choices then.
I never voted a day in my life.
We do have choices.
I don't like the concept of a king, a ruler, or any of that. I don't like that concept.
We living in it
President.
regardless of what we like though. We up in it though, right?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, for me, I never saw. I don't like voting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I get it.
I never liked that concept of one person ruling and you got to follow.
Yeah, it's always a chain of command of
Yeah.
order. You know what I mean? It's decency
Even
and
when
order
playing
and everything.
sports, I never liked the concept of team captain or any. Nor did I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just me.
No, I feel you. A lot of people don't even be worthy of them joints.
Yeah.
And then it be based upon favoritism, and then you following behind somebody that you know you wouldn't even follow behind.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But that's crazy though. That thing that I pulled up, I was trying to find what nationality he was, and then
What nationality? Who was?
Willie Lynch,
He was a black man
and then
from Jamaica.
that came up.
Yeah, he was a black man from Jamaica. Of course, they're gonna always refute or defute. They didn't want him with them 100 slaves that he had, so they ain't gonna give him. They're never gonna give us the credit for anything, bro. Like, so.
I always thought I wonder why they never really talked about his nationality though, even in Black history. From what you know, what I mean, this something new to me.
Well, I mean, I guess in my mind, I would say like they control how they dispense the information to begin with. So, like, I guess that's why you have to do layers of research. You know what I mean? All of that is out there. They used to have small books on the Willie Lynch letter. When I came across it, and they was like in the corner of black bookstores. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not the corner, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, a lot of people really don't, a lot of people still don't know.
Damn.
That's probably how they still able to just paint the picture. You know what I mean? Without without doing extensive research. There's a lot of things that are still tainted. People still think we didn't create a lot of stuff that they taking credit for.
Yeah, and Ben was saying how come he did it. It's business, man. You guys, motherfuckers don't care about no brother. Oh, this is my it's business. That's how this shit works. I was told that the person who created crack cocaine was a black doctor.
Nah, that crack cocaine was created in a laboratory, you know.
Yes, but listen, this is somebody
It
who
wasn't a
knows
black
who's.
professor
I'm not
though.
going to say the person name, but yeah, this is somebody that knows facts, and um, the person that created it, he actually ran Harlem Hospital. I forgot the name, but if you do your research, um, the CIA, I guess, uh, commissioned him to create a drug that will have black people addicted, and
Yeah, I
this
don't
is how they
believe it was
came
a
up with
black
this.
professor. It
Yeah.
was a professor, and it wasn't a college university. I think it was UCLA, but I don't believe it was a black professor.
Nah, I heard he was a doctor, like some sort of a chemist.
Yeah, chemist.
But
I
he was
mean,
in
yeah,
charge
but
of running he was in charge of running Harlem Hospital.
what you mean during that same time or after
I'm
that
not
he got
100%
appointed
sure,
to
but
that
that was
position?
his position. He ran Harlem Hospital. He's when Harlem Hospital, I guess I don't know if when did Harlem Hospital open? I don't
Yeah,
even
but
know.
it wasn't. What
He
I'm saying is, I did the research in the history, and like if that same chemist that played a part in that, or one of the chemists played a part in that, maybe down the road he wound up running Harlem Hospital. But
yeah, maybe yeah,
I
maybe.
don't I don't believe that it was a black man. Like, and
I'm
if it's the
telling you,
CIA,
this is somebody that
was he? But he
they
was. I
worked
mean,
they worked in government. They worked on the presidents. So that's what he told me. I
no,
don't
I
know how
feel you.
true it is. That's what he
No, I
told me,
feel you. No,
and I was like, damn. He
no,
was
I
like,
hear
yeah,
everything that you're saying. But even with that being him, like, I don't believe a black man would let the. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
you
all
know,
business. Why not though? If you are expert in
that's
certain
deeper than business. Like,
if you are expert in certain things, you don't know. You know what I mean? They actually like, yo, we need you to. You know what I mean? You don't know that. Oh, it's geared towards black people, or you just doing the job.
no, I
That's
feel you.
how I think. Whether he did it on purpose or he knew about, you know what I mean, that he
But
was an
that's like,
expert
yeah, because
in
people
that
still do
field.
that to this day.
You know what I mean? Who knows what to believe? Shit is all crazy.
No, I feel you. Well,
Where I put this shit? Where Bam go?
I don't know. I don't know what happened with Lynn. I Oh, let me tell you what I did today though.
What happened?
Today I through the same company that I work for, that I was able to be a part of that advocacy day back in January. You remember when I mentioned that?
Yeah.
So last week I went to a rally down in front of the governor's office for bail reform. And today I was a part of a Zoom meeting rally because it was, forecast of rain. So it was scheduled to take place in Harlem, in Manhattan, Harlem, or what have you, but it wound up being on Zoom. So it was the women of the justice movement, past, present, and future. It was a panel, all right, and they were basically it was, talking about it's a coalition advocating for women, right? And these are females that are in prison, coming home from prison, and this group of women, they basically fight for women's rights.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah. So Yeah, it was very interesting, man. They had some they had a reverend on there. They had warrior for what human justice. She was human rights, human development program manager. There was another sister on there. She's the COO of Girls for Gender Equity, and she's a youth justice advocate. There was a city council member on there from District 9. Her name was Kristen Jordan, and founder of Vision V, Community Health Justice. She's also a co-chairman. Her name is Dr. Phillips. Um, so, they were talking about the issues that females deal with and everything, and the tragedy that's going on, the travesty that's taking place on Rikers Island with the female jail there, and how the
Mm.
women are the conditions and everything that they're suffering from, and how females are getting, they die in prison and everything, just all the issues pertaining to them, and it's serious basically. So you know me, I was just sitting, just listening and basically taking my notes. It was my first time ever able to be a part of something like that, you
Oh
know?
wow. Wow.
Yeah. So um one of the things that they were saying that
Got that good
is
dope.
how our mental health is exasperated, you know what I mean, after being in prison. Your mental health is exasperated. And that makes a lot of sense. And then one of the sisters, she is a former. So look, she mentioned how she was formerly incarcerated, right? But she talks about post-traumatic prison disorder,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she wants that to be supported, and she wants to be able to get a bill signed for that post-traumatic prison disorder. But she's a child of a former incarcerated parent. She was born in prison. That's
Wow,
bananas. That's bananas.
that is
You
crazy.
know? Yeah. Like she was born in prison and then wound up going to prison. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. So did you get a chance to speak?
oh no, this wasn't it wasn't one of those for me to speak. I was able to speak at the joint in January because I basically told them my story and why I was in support of the treatment not jail bill. But for the most part, yeah, all of them isn't all of them, all of the events or what have you aren't organized like that. So this one was strictly for the females, and this was more so I took it as gathering the information and the intel and everything, and then also I was able to, get paid for that hour. So
Okay, that's what's up.
yeah, so it was like a double positive on my side because I learned a lot. And then as far as the project that we working on bailing out black mothers, you know what I mean? That's they deal with females. So I was able to network prior to that event, basically, with one of the organizers of the organization. And then she said she would pass, the email that we shared and everything to her executive director, so hopefully that will help the process move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to help it move forward to be able to get our first candidate. You know what I mean?
So do you mind working with me on a Kickstarter campaign to say we want to do a documentary on the process of you going through all of this and setting this up? Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the so no, I don't mind that at all to answer your
Yeah, and
question. But
I'll you know what I mean? I know exactly what needs to go on there. It's just gathering the information and writing about what we're trying to do. And
right.
I could get some photos, and then I could come down there and we'll do like maybe a 2-minute video explaining why it's so important
Yeah, I'm a
to
child of
do
a
some.
former incarcerated parent. My mother was incarcerated for 10
Yeah,
years.
so
She had
yeah.
a 15 year to life sentence, and she received a governor's pardon after 10 years. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's my life story right there. On top of me having gone to prison, so it's like I get it, and I never thought about the effect that it has on females. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Prison.
Yeah.
I never thought about that part. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? So once I've been able to obtain that information and hear it not only from females and hear the details, it took on a whole different perspective. You know, for everybody, it's traumatic for everyone, but you know what I mean? That's something that females definitely shouldn't have to endure.
Yeah, man. Damn.
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna get it started like this weekend, the page, and then I'll share with you and we could work on it, you know what I mean, together, because I think this something that's very important
yeah,
that
and
needs to be documented.
we definitely going to
Yeah, this is I was watching the rewatching the Oscars, uh, and the joint that that Questlove, he won for the Soul Summit, whatever, in Harlem.
right.
So I need to watch that documentary to see. I mean, I heard a little bit about it, but to see
When I brought it up, you ain't want to listen.
now what was the people going in Harlem at that time?
No, it's not that. It happened the same time as Woodstock. That's what made it so big.
Oh,
So they
okay,
tried to make all of that racket of what was going on in Woodstock and how, you
yeah,
know, all them niggas was getting high. It wasn't nothing but a big, I'm not going to say it. And then in
yeah, yeah,
Harlem, at the same time, look how we were celebrating with our people.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's why they called that a summer in Harlem. I
Yo,
seen that
check
when
it.
it first came out.
Um,
What year did that take place? 62?
It had to be the good years. You see, it was all Harlem out
Nah, it
there.
wasn't no good years.
No, those was the good. We say it was
Oh,
the
I'm talking about, no, I'm
those
talking
was
about
That's
for
the
the
good
country. I'm
years,
talking about for
man.
the
the
country in
Renaissance,
general.
Those were the good
Harlem
years.
Renaissance.
We
You
can
know
say
how
they
they?
the bad years as far as how we being treated and everything,
No,
but
I'm
as far
talking
as
about just for
structure, we still
the
had
how
a
many
little bit of
people
structure.
how many people in the 60s got assassinated. That's why I was saying
No, but
60s.
I'm saying it because of the family foundation at those times. Those were the times where you was able to build. You had a whole structure. You had a foundation. You feel me? It was a order. It was discipline. It was like so you and it was where you first needed it in the structure of your life and the household and at a young age. So that was the time where a lot of value came out, even though it was a lot of things that was wrong in our demise and of our people. But and those times are when we were the most closest ever.
y'all wanted to I wanted to bring up these notes. Like I had mentioned a sister, right? Um, she had mentioned how basically she's dealt with historical trauma and racism. She was born in Corona State Prison to a drug addicted mother. And she was basically breaking down children of incarcerated parents become incarcerated without addressing generational curses. That really resonated with my spirit because my my mom was incarcerated, and in spite of everything that my aunts and my grandmother did to shelter me, I still wound up getting incarcerated. Now, part of that was due to me not listening and and being rebellious. That was a major part of it. 85% maybe I would say, right? At this point being
And it,
47, right?
and it,
But outside of that though, the generational curses. It's like I reflect on certain things now, just as far as like generational curses, family secrets, denial. Like to me, that's like in the same like level, like how Dr. Anderson was talking about the fifth floors, the five floors of the building, basically. So like those are part of like the floors of a building in my mind, in my opinion. So like when that resonated with me, like I said, that trigger, because I was like, damn, that's bananas. It was like I took on the pain and everything of my parents, my father with the drugs, my mom with prison. Like I had infatuated myself with that so much as a child in my brain that eventually, and then it's even ill to break down, but it made sense to me though. It didn't.
It's a
Not
it's
everyone
a
who
thing.
has a
It's a thing
child
when
of
I
an
was in school.
incarcerated parent. Go ahead,
Hmm.
Paul.
It was a thing when I was in school. It's called it's a self fulfilling prophecy. So like you said, you embody, those examples of your parents, and you thought about those things, and you really put yourself on a path to achieve those subconsciously. You know what I mean? The self fulfilling. Like if I tell myself I'm not good at math, what's gonna
Mhm.
happen? I'm not gonna work on math. I'm gonna stay far away from math. But every time I go to math, I'm gonna fail the test. I'm not gonna get strong in that. So you
Mhm.
really, it's a self fulfilling prophecy. You put that on your shoulders already. So I'm just
And when
listening
you
to I'm listening to Benga's example and what he's saying. Just want to kind of add that in because that was something I learned at school. It was and something we talked about personally, and me and Benga, and in the conversation we had recently, I was saying how we have the power of life and death in our tongue, and sometimes we have to really watch what we say because we just, put ourselves on trajectory to achieve or don't achieve whatever we say. You know what I mean?
That's a
Word.
fact, and I definitely agree with you. And that just to add on and piggyback to what you said about the subconscious, that's what I learned about myself also. How a lot of it has been subconscious, like how I was breaking down to y'all from a child about about um me dealing with the trauma and basically creating that world outside of my world. That's basically, you know what I'm saying, like the conscious and subconscious in an analogy form. So that all of that makes sense. All of
Right.
that makes sense. And also to add on to it, not saying that it had to be that way. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I just
Right. Right.
understand with the
No.
negative
Nah.
thinking and the
Sure.
depression and how I personalized their life as opposed to just focusing on the good in
Yeah.
my life. But I was a kid.
You
So
you
so
embodied
so
it. You
yeah,
embodied it.
yeah, I was a child though. So I
But
don't, you know what I'm
could
saying?
I ask a question?
I don't hold myself
Then
I'm no longer I don't hold myself at fault of that any longer, subconsciously or consciously.
can I
Because
ask
I
you a
was told,
question?
go ahead, go ahead.
In the
I
same
was
no-
just trying
in the
to
same
finish my thought.
you good? In the same sense, when you were going through most of these issues as far as your moms and your dad, is that when you was growing up in the suburb area where children was around their moms and their dads, so maybe that would play a part because you were like you probably stuck out maybe a little more. So
Yeah, bro, like that's you exactly right, man. That's what I was saying. Like how
because
I would go to school, predominantly white schools,
mhm.
and dealing with the discrimination, quote unquote racism, and then coming home and then knowing that my life at home wasn't conducive to the environment in the school setting. Now I'm being told about the sacrifices that are being made for me to be in that position,
But you
but
don't
Right.
understand them at that point.
I didn't understand it. And I said something, yeah, I didn't want to go
No,
off,
because
but
it's crazy.
I
Because I'm
had a
listening to
therapist.
you and I'm thinking like, yeah, my pops was in jail, and I done went to visit that nigga in jail, and all the whole turn of that shit is, and jail and me is not something that. So, but I would have a different terminology on it. My terminology would just be if you happen to partake into something, just don't get caught. Do it by yourself. Make sure nobody else. So it wouldn't be. I understand when you say sometimes you see it and you embody that, but that's kind of like if that's
I
the
was a
case, I don't
kid,
mean to.
man.
I don't mean to knock them down. I understand. I'm bringing it from a point with me being a kid too. Where I'm saying like I was going through this when my pops was a kid too. I went to visit him while I was in a group home. They made me do it. The counselors. So that was like a chore I had to do, telling me this is where you might end up. So I done been hearing the same shit that you. That's why I'm saying it was kind of a little different for me because I
And
didn't really.
you were already in the system, man.
But
So
not
you
only
being
that,
in the
I grew
system and
up.
not wanting to be, not wanting to,
Mhm.
because you had already, in my mind, when you breaking down, when you were telling your story and everything, in my mind, the strength and everything that I see with you is how you had made your mind up early on, and especially how when you were breaking down how you analyzed the environment and how you had taken advantage of it and the things when you played the tape back to why you are the way in certain aspects you are now because you picked up certain things back
Mhm.
then when you were in that environment. And that was the strength that I
But that
took.
was ways to stay away from that environment. So
That's
that's what I'm saying as far as, but him being into that environment. So I'm saying my whole thing, it might have did counteract it, but it might have just counteracted me different where I said I will stay away from. Like I don't have no, like that shit is, to me, ain't cool. That's not, nah. Even if I wanted to participate in something, and I know that may be the consequences, I still don't want to. You feel me? That's not what a nigga want to be. Like certain people, it seems like that's just what that generation, they just like they walked themselves in the jail back in the days. It wasn't me. Them niggas ain't.
Yeah, my father told me not just in my sense in certain cases, but like just in general with dudes. Like dudes be throwing rocks at the penitentiary, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? He used to say that to me like continuously. He used to pull my coattail and be like, yo, kid, you about to crash into a brick wall, but wouldn't be with me or anything, but because he's my father. You get what I'm saying? It's just like with me and Bless now. You get what I'm saying? So I get it. Like I said, I get it now. And it's all about perception. That's basically what we're deducing and being our own therapist. It's all about perception from the beginning. It's all about those core things basically. And that's what, you know what I mean? That's what I definitely see. I appreciate, and I'm just grateful
How
for the
how old is your
um
children over there? Hog, I'm sorry.
10. My boys are 10 and 9, and then I have a daughter that's 23.
So what do you just got? The coolest fucking kids in the world, or you got your space is
Nah,
your
tonight,
space?
tonight, they over their grandmother's, but usually by this time it's like 9:30. They be in their room winding down. It's 8:30 right now,
No, I
and
only say that because you see my son, that nigga, he Bogart damn near and
yeah,
I
oh
be
yeah,
looking, you be having the cleanest shows ever. You ain't got nobody, you chilling,
yeah. They got their own room, and you know what I mean. They see me, they stay away, but
I got you.
they be in there playing at 5 at PlayStation 5, watching YouTube, but they run down on me every now and then, but it's like they like this, you know what I mean,
I
9
feel
and
you got
10.
two
So
boys, so them
yeah,
niggas
so
is them. They
they
them.
got their own,
They.
they only come out to eat. That's it, you know what I mean.
I feel you.
Straight up,
I feel you.
they come out to eat,
You
man.
in
They
the
be in there
glory
chilling.
stages with them.
Yeah,
I know,
for
but
sure.
when they was young, it was hard when they was motherfucking that age, back to back. But now it seems it probably work in the favor because they both, now you
Yeah, I
ain't
was
got to
very
worry about
fortunate, man. Like I live in the same city. My wife's mother, father, she got 2 sisters, so I had a lot of help. Plus, like I said, my daughter. So,
it.
even when it was like like always too much, they was always there to help. So we always had extra hands.
I got you.
Sometimes her mama, buy some outfits, slide some extra bread. So to this day, she still do. So we got. I feel very fortunate because we still got help.
That's beautiful. I
It
was
it don't be overwhelming. It don't be overwhelming like that.
Yo, old Richard, man, you still working on that video? How that thing looking like now?
I had just read that name on there. You know what I mean? Earlier, I was
That's
tripping.
my
I'm like,
man.
yo,
That's my man. I'm gonna call him. He not paparazzi. He just he shock theory. That was a shock theory. Papa gonna go with. I know that. I wanted to ask Papa this question. I ain't asking it until he come on. Until I hear him say what there. Then I'm gonna ask him the question because this is the funniest
okay.
shit I see.
What question you want to ask me?
Did you see Michael Blackstone's response to Will Smith?
Nah, I didn't see it.
He's like, don't you let that motherfucker do that. He come up there with a suit. I'd have seen him walking on the stage like that. I'd have turned up all the lights. I'm undefeated in the dark.
Nah, but you said when we was talking about the day night after, you was right. Man, I heard that boy Tony Rock, he not going. You know what I mean? Tony, he want smoke. You know what I mean? He gonna have to answer. Tony, he didn't appreciate his brother getting smacked up in front of
Hell
the
no.
world.
Nah, they
Yeah,
been calling my nigga Pookie for all these years. Everybody hate my look. Nah, man, that shit not going on, bro. What's going on, B?
yo, he got to see Tony, man. Tony
Fuck
want to
that.
see Will,
I'm going
bro.
to see DJ Jazzy Jeff first. I'm going to hit your man up first, B. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
that.
man.
Nah, but they need to have a. But then Michael Blackston is a sucker too, because he going, come on, and then they talk about fight. That's not no fair fight. Ali was niggas like, he said, Willie Smith was niggas like Ali. I am legend. He's always a good fighter. He's always in there. We're saving the world strong. He said, Chris Rock, he was MC Gusto. Pookie.
Yo, bro.
The man
Not
got MC Gusto.
Not
Pookie.
Gusto, bro.
Yo, the nigga pulled out Gusto. He said MC Gusto.
Yo,
He said, that's
hey,
what I said. He
what
was.
was this on? Was he on the show or he was
Pookie.
just on a YouTube
He
channel
said
or what?
on YouTube, MC Gusto, Pookie, and Pootie Tang. I was dying, B. This nigga is a sucker. We're gonna kick his ass.
He was Pootie Tang Daddy
Oh
with the belt.
man.
He was Pootie Tang Daddy with the belt.
Yo, what
That's
made that
crazy.
man? Yo, that nigga picked the wackest films ever. He picked the wackest
Yeah.
films ever. I was at least going,
MC
my
Gusto.
nigga been head of state. He been head of state too. He ain't the same head of state as Will, but Will was the enemy. He was the head. He done had a couple joints on this belt. Chris Rock was, y'all forgot his little
Oh
Empire stuff.
man.
He was fake. He was Frank Mathis, whoever he was. Frank Gathers.
Yo, that's too
That's
much, bro.
that's freedom pops.
MC Gusto.
Yo,
That's wild.
that nigga a sucker, B.
That's
That
wild.
shit was funny. I said, if Papo see this, I know Papo gonna die. He gonna send this shit to me. He ain't sent it. I was like, okay, I got something.
Yeah, that sounds funny, man.
What you said you had, Banger, some current events? I'm sorry, I heard some things that I probably didn't pick up on. What would you say was going on in the current event?
Oh, that was earlier, bro. I don't even have that spot anymore. I didn't save that.
Don't worry about it. It's did we get to the Proverbs yet?
No.
We on the 31st. I know we had the 30th yesterday. We told them half earlier.
Yeah.
We sat here. We did half a fucking show for an hour some change, I would say, and then we realized we wasn't even recording. I said,
Right.
yo, we was bugging, and we back today though. We definitely back today. What you checking out right now, Banger? You're looking at your notes.
I was trying to find that article, but it doesn't look like I'm having any success with that right now.
What brought down the Dr. Claude Anderson? Because that's kind of old. All those things that I see, y'all will go back. That's probably like 2-3 years old.
I was sitting with some older gentlemen at my job the other day, and we was chopping it up. I actually introduced myself to them. They were older gentlemen, African American males. They were actually brothers, and my job is to interact with the community and see what's going on. So I'm always trying to connect and let them know, hey, if you got any ideas, you want to do any events in the city, let me know, because I work for the city. And so when we was talking, and he was saying how certain things, how long they've been in the community, certain things they want to do, they've been having a lot of obstacles. He was saying something and I couldn't remember some things that had me on the Willie Lynch. I was like, yo, I was talking something about that. So I text Banger like, who was that person that we talked about? And hit me with the Willie Lynch, because I was like, yo, when I remember that name, I couldn't remember it. So I said Willie Lynch. Then he broke it down like, yo, Willie Lynch was a black man. I said, what? I just stopped him like, what? What'd you say? And I FaceTime Banger. I'm like, yo. I said, Banger, did you know Willie Lynch was a black man? And the same reaction I had, Banger had like, yo, he like,
oh, that's bananas, B.
Yo, and so
yo, it all makes sense now, though, Hall.
Old head was just breaking it down. So he's telling him about Claude Anderson and telling him, he said, listen, everything I told you was off the head. He said, now you go do your due diligence and research it and make sure what I told you is right. If I told you wrong, my apologies, but X, Y, Z. So that's how we got on that, because he said he gave him Claude Anderson, and the book he wrote was, what is it, Benga? Behaviors? Something behaviors?
Inappropriate behaviors.
Inappropriate behaviors.
He wrote a
And
couple
then
books.
yeah, but he specifically told us about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's how that started.
Nah, but I never heard of him being black. They even introduced him as white. So if he black, he Jesus. This the second Jesus coming.
Nah,
Right.
man, we ain't gonna put him in Jesus lane. We ain't gonna do that. But I
The
get the
man had
concept of
power,
what you're
man.
saying.
Man had power, man.
I
300
get the
years,
concept.
bro. I just want to know if this was some experiment, like like the nuclear bomb or something, where he thought he was helping his people, and this was a way to, and they turned it around on him.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
what
go.
he had going on.
We got to
I'm
dig
gonna go
into that.
back to that.
I know that just wasn't. Or he had to be a. Don't tell me Willie Lynch was one of them niggas, man. His brother, we gonna go back, find out his brother dated his girl. Him and his girl went through it. They broke up. Willie was mad. Willie got him back, took over his country, his little side of the town, enslaved his brother, then sold his brother to the Muslims. And then he came over here because his brother got free and then learned this whatever and taught the natives over here how to be free, was down with the Indians. He get mad. He come over here and try to say, fuck it, I'm going to teach y'all how to kill all them niggas, B. Fuck my brother. That's the only thing. Brother, sibling wars is the only things that can cause a world domination.
Yo, for real.
Yeah.
Word. But I couldn't believe it. He told me that. I said, what? I mean, I just, everything stopped, because I never assumed that Willie Lynch could even be any other culture than white. You know
I know
what I
they
mean?
lying with that, B. They lying.
Yo.
They lying. He said nigga too much for that to be a black man.
I'm
He lying.
surprised. I'm surprised
Right.
that you so bent on it, because of the fact that you pinpoint how it started with us culturally in Africa. So really shouldn't be a surprise.
It's not a surprise, but I just don't
Now
want it to
listen
be
to what he's saying. He's
that
talking about the
fucking
letter.
obvious. You feel me? I don't want it to be that obvious. Like, come on, Willie really came over here mad about a bitch and fucked our generation up for 300 years, B. I don't want it to be that, like, you feel me? Because in reality, we're going to go, what did it boil down to him for him enslaving in the first place? You fucked my queen.
Exactly.
She was supposed to be for me. You was, come on, man, some Henry shit. It always boiled down to this type of some Troy shit. The same way all these fucking, these monumental done fall down is because of basic, little, simple, dumb shit. They're human beings. So what would make a black brother come over here and just like say, you know what, I'm going to destroy their whole kind over here?
Yeah, well, we gonna
we gonna research that, because I don't
like
believe
you
that
said,
was
we gonna
that's
figure
one
it
of
out,
them folks'
because
lies.
it was already in motion, and in my mind, like I said,
We started it on some
the
bullshit.
white dude, the white dude, that either him initiating the dialogue between him and the slave, or the slave initiating it between the two of them. But that's how it started.
I thought it started with the Muslims trying to come over there and capture.
Oh no, not slavery. I'm not talking about slavery. I was still on Willie Lynch. I was still on Willie Lynch and his whole system. Like,
my whole thing is, it couldn't have been Willie Lynch. They lying us, man. They done hid. They burnt the real letters and all of that. Now they want to tell us that's a black man. That's the biggest folk tale in the world.
This dude was so on point with everything, man. It's like, nah, man, I can't see it. It's
but
the truth hurts. That's why I shine through darkness.
But they told us how it happened. He already gave us a glimpse of how everything happened. We started it. That's what the part we're not going to acknowledge. We
Nah, but then
started it.
again, I don't even
You
what I'm
don't want to
saying.
believe that part. The same
Nah,
way
it's
I
not
don't want to
about
believe Willie.
bro. It's not about believing it, bro. It's right here in our face, bro. As far as the history, bro, we continue to say we, right? But
Hmm.
in my mind, like I said, culturally and everything, but it wasn't violating what you had. Like at the end of the day, like it was like it may have been like a period of time or whatever. What I'm
Manipulation
saying,
is manipulation. We got back
I
to
mean,
that. So
irregardless
just
of that, what
because
I'm saying, hold up.
I hear you. I'm not trying. I'm arguing
Now
with you,
go ahead.
honestly. You know that.
Go ahead.
If you're gonna tell me that we did it and it was okay because we didn't do it in a malicious way, that's just saying until somebody comes with a different plan that executes to the same things that we're gonna do,
No,
then
but
they're
I
gonna
didn't.
just that we still wrong.
Yeah, I
We
didn't
gave
say
you the
that.
idea.
Yeah, no,
We birthed
I
the
didn't.
idea.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. 1441, Henry the Navigator. He was Portuguese. He ain't African. He
But
ain't
that's
black.
not when it
He
started. It didn't start with him. You
yo,
going to
bro,
just
this is
his
when
testament.
this
They
you
say
going to
it
who?
started with the Muslims trying to take over Africa, bro. That's when
All
it
right,
started.
so
The
it
Muslims
was
tried
they
to take
weren't
over Africa.
right. They
They
were
was
doing it.
unsuccessful. The niggas made a deal. What the deal they made is when them niggas was sending them niggas over 1 million slaves because he said the Muslims, matter of fact, they was shocked when they found out the black people was enslaving themselves. This is what made them niggas go, oh shit. So we
Right. So
started the whole process. So I understand what you're telling us about
the
this.
Muslims did it. The Muslims did it based off religious persecution. That's what the Muslims did it off of. That
I
was
hear.
in seven. Hold up. That was in 765. The Muslims, the Arabs, trying to conduct holy wars to take gold,
Mhm.
etc., from Africa. Right. That's where the Arabs and them came in. Right. So it was what 1300 years. 1300 years, Arabs have been selling blacks.
Mhm. No,
Basically,
well,
that
well, basically, blacks been selling blacks to Arabs. Say it right.
I'm
Arabs.
saying it how it is. Arabs selling blacks. Period. Like you say it, blacks selling blacks to Arabs or whatever. But I'm
No.
saying it like,
Africa
you know what I'm
trades
saying?
1 million black people a year. They've been doing it for over what 300 years, 100 and something years, right? And they're still doing it to this day.
Oh, you talking about the Arabs? Yeah. Um, what was it?
That was the
13
deal.
million just by the Arabs. 13 million Africans just by Arabs alone. And to this, at by what's that? 9 years ago, 2013, they were still doing it at $475 a piece.
The
That's
value on each
crazy.
slave. That's the value on each slave, right?
Right. As of 2013, that was the value per slave, $475.
And this was a deal made.
Well, I don't know about I don't have the deal in the notes. But like I said, I'm going back to inappropriate behavior. So then that way I could pull
I feel you.
what I need to pull back from it and add to what I already
No,
have
no,
because
I know.
I want the narration to be organized on the recap.
Hmm.
You feel me? Because my notes, I have them organized, but I want to go back to it
You
again
saying I'm
because I have
organized?
more here. You know what I'm saying? But I have more information here that I want us to be able like Maritaris. How do you pronounce it? Maritaris or Maritaris manumission. That's basically the sellouts. That's the
Hmm.
terminology for the sellouts.
Hmm.
It's Maritaris, Maritaris, Maritarous, Maritaris manumission, Manumission, yeah, manumission, yeah. Um,
Like, what
um,
the type words is these? I
see,
understand.
yeah, that's the terminology that he said that's used for all right, what save white man's life, protect property of the white people, invent what does that say? Invention white men can make money and gain power from,
The shit
and
we supposed to
squeal
be calling all the time.
and squeal a tell on your own people.
Samuel
Exactly.
Jackson and Durango. I mean,
Correct. They
Django.
and Django.
yeah, 1710 Virginia. Like they flip, see things up. This is when he was talking about how they flipped everything upside down for
Hmm.
us to see things upside down.
Backwards.
Maritaris manumission. You know what I'm saying? Save the white man's life, protect property of white people,
Hmm.
and invent inventions that white people can make money and gain power from, and squeal a tail on your own people.
Did we get into the how there's two pieces of the Constitution? How the first 15 pieces, or the first piece with the first 12
12.
amendments were basically all
All right, so
created for the white people. Did we get into that, or I don't want to?
yeah, no, we didn't. So they're two constitutions. That's basically what
Not
the
two
issue is.
constitutions. It's one
There's
constitution, but
two con
it
no,
was done.
no, no. Um, there's two constitutions right now, still. That's basically
Okay,
what he said. That's what's going on. The first constitution
it's
was
1 to
in
12.
1789 to 1860, the first 12 amendments. It gave
Hmm.
whites all privileges that they needed. In 1857, there was the Dred Scott case. Dred Scott was a black man that he had
Across the
what
borders.
traveled across state lines or what have you in search of his freedom. And I'll come back to it, detail oriented, but he
And was
got to the
basically
Supreme
he was
Court.
detained.
He got no, he wasn't. He got to the Supreme Court. He got to the Supreme Court to go to them for his freedom. All right, and they told him that he wasn't a free man. He couldn't have his freedom. All right, he was considered property. He was a non-citizen. All
So
right,
he was
now
detained.
so shortly after that he went up. Shortly after that there was the Civil War in
Hmm.
America. All right. So after the Civil War in America, the liberal Republicans, they like, okay, we got to give the black people something. So that's when the second Constitution was written, and created. That was the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Within that were the civil rights laws. All right. And um, hold on. That was, what, um, that was the breakdown of the 40 acres and a mule and $100. They said in order to be that's what it was. They said in order to be considered free, you had to have 40 acres and a mule
And a dollar.
and $100. All right. And that's yeah, 40 acres and a mule and $100 basically. And the so basically what I deduce from everything is why he's saying if he could run for political office, Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm talking about. He's
Hmm.
saying if he could run for political office, or you know, there was a movement with someone in political office, he would lobby and focus on that second constitution for us to be able to get what we're owed from the government, basically what we were naturally supposed to receive
Hmm.
from the government, right? And yeah, and then he
And how
basically broke down how, and that's what you were gonna say,
did you
man.
get into where he started it at? We're basically saying for years, like we've been deprived because we never had any communities, and what it takes for you to have a community. What's a community based of? Did we break down that? Because I know
Yeah,
we
not
did this whole thing yesterday, so to us it felt like we probably done went through
Recap.
it, but we never.
yeah, nah,
Yeah,
but now today, no, we didn't.
we didn't. Yeah,
I
so
didn't.
those is key things that we needed to touch on, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't get into the
Yeah, how the communities,
community
how we
part.
never had any communities, and how we lived into these neighborhoods until they became hoods after the neighbors moved up and moved out. But as we know, that was just in Harlem. All that did was make niggas buy shit up, and now you see the
All right, so this is what I had missed. Um, that 1865 to 1875 was a period of Reconstruction. Now, within that period of Reconstruction, like during the course of that, the Supreme Court came. This is what killed what we were supposed to receive, and he basically labeled the Supreme Court as the guardians of racism, because the Supreme Court in 1875, they came in and killed the Reconstruction for our people.
But
That's what he said.
But
That's what.
can you explain why he called them the guardian of racism? Who the Supreme Court consists of? Who's on the panel? All
Judges,
what? Judges that consist of all what?
white
Caucasians.
men, white
Not
men.
only white men. What were their backgrounds? They were either what racial
I mean, the first 57 members were slave owners.
Wow, you shouldn't. That's not something that needs to be highlighted. Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's not
like
surprising, but
well,
yeah,
maybe
I mean
that's the
that was in
reason we
the
don't believe
notation.
that they should be involved because the first 57 already got a blind mind to seeing things because they were slave owners.
Yeah, yeah, they're the Supreme Court is the guardian of racism historically. They said no land for us, no tools, no education, none of that. They dubbed that.
So
They dubbed it.
now y'all understand why the feds is so grimy. They are the guardians of racism.
Well, this is another reason why, behind the scenes, it's like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing man he didn't exist. So with Trump, for example, he would portray, whatever he would portray to us as a people, but he appointed 160 federal judges while he was in office, and they was all some racist redneck crackers. So yeah, that's bananas. Hmm, That's
What
bananas.
Obama did,
I don't know what Obama did.
You said 160 what?
100.
169 judges, he elected them inside of
No,
the
no. Trump
Uh,
Trump appointed 160 federal judges while he
yeah.
was in
wow.
office. All
That's crazy.
racist redneck crackers, basically.
That's the ad lib.
Yeah,
All
that's a fact. That's the bullet point.
all racist redneck crackers.
That's a
So
fact.
you got the ones that actually was inside and ran the slave ships, and now you got the new age slave masters, and they trying to get them to combine and figure out a way to still hold us back.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's the testimony of what you got in front of you. Give me 2 minutes, and then we're gonna get into the proverbs of the day. What's up? Oh, Richard.
Yeah, so more or less what Liam was talking about as far as like the community, um, watching the inappropriate behavior um film basically. So with the community, what he was basically breaking down is that we've been stripped of our community. You know, um, basically like the most we have is like a neighborhood. Neighborhoods, and the neighborhood is where you eat and sleep, and there's no monetary financial um economy that's circulating basically
Yeah.
for us as a people. So that's why there are no communities. Basically, it's just neighborhoods, and then the neighbors are moving out, so they just hoods. That's why we call them the hood. So you think about that dumb down system, even verbally, and it goes back to what you said, Hall. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. So
Sure.
people saying they living in the hood, and just the concept of that, because you do, God bless you, you do create your heaven or hell at the end of the day. So and then the environment and the situations and circumstances within the environment, all of those things play a part. But he was basically breaking down like how we needed to build our community, organize our community, and have purchase a building. And we need to have like a 5-story building within that community. But just like with group economics, he was saying that the money should be spent 8 to 12 times before leaving our community. And that doesn't happen with us at all. With that, say for example, the Asians, their money flips like 18 times before it leave their community. The Caucasians, it
Dang.
may be like 15, 16 times. We may be on like one, not even, because we don't have anything within our community. Arabs, Asians in the Chinese store, Arabs in the corner stores, whoever in the liquor stores. So, you know, um, but
Yeah,
the
that's
five
crazy.
story building, consisted of the first floor being economics, the second floor being politics, You know, once you generate the income, you know, once we generate the income as a people, right? Then that's when we basically build our, you know, we get our politicians to put them in office. Basically, when we have the politicians in office, that's when we can appoint and hire the police officers, the judges. Once we have them in place, then that's when we can build the media. Once the media is in place, not just in place, but basically after the media, the top floor is education. And the education is for the tools. It all makes sense. Like it makes sense basically.
Yeah,
And there needs my fault.
everything's connected. Everything's connected, and that's where it comes into play where it's no community. You know what I mean? Because only a standalone entity instead of all five working together like this. That's what makes
Yeah,
the community.
yeah,
You know
holy
how they
purely
used to say,
my fault. Go ahead.
my fault. Yeah, how they say, one hand washes the back and all that. I wash your hand, you wash my back. So it's like you have to have. That's what makes a community when everyone works together. You know,
Right,
I might have the ammo, but you got the guns. You know what I'm saying? So together we're a better force together than separate. So that's the
that's a
same
fact.
thing with what you were saying, with the economics, with the education, and having the media and the people in you know in the ranks. That's what makes it interconnected because
Right,
you can't have any consistency when there's a break. You know what I mean? I
right,
can have it up to this point, but I'm gonna need somebody else to pick up where I left off. So yeah,
right.
so it makes sense. Like you said, everything has to flow properly.
Yeah, basically, our holy purely economic structure is based upon jobs, services, products, and resources. And within the community, there has to be a code of conduct that's established. You know, um,
Yeah,
how to
everybody
behave.
working toward the same goal.
Yeah, how to behave and how we going to support each other. You know, so he broke down the steps and everything.
What you need. Why you muted down? I be muted. God, look.
You say what?
Why you took your mic off? Why you muted?
Oh, I don't even know why I just did that, especially since you pinpointed it. Um, what's up? You ready for the proverb?
Yeah, you good.
Uh, um, today's the 31st, so the words of King Lemuel, the utterance which his mother taught him. What, my son, and what son of my womb, and what son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes intoxicating drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the justice of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to him who is perishing, and wine to those who are bitter of heart. Let him drink and forget his Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Open your mouth for the speechless and the cause of all who are appointed to die. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubles. Pardon me. For her worth is
Yo,
far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She bring,
Can you start that passage over with the critical female, just the beginning of the passage that you was just reading?
the beginning of the scripture, the verse I was just reading, or
Yeah,
you
the
talking
verse you
about the
was just
chapter?
reading. No, the verse you was just reading, the beginning of the verse.
She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. That verse, or the one before that one?
No, that verse basically
Uh,
explaining what you was getting into now.
right. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night, and provides food for her household, and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. This is a reading unto the Lord. Thanks be to the word of God. Amen.
Amen.
Then
Oh,
it reads on my fault. I thought it was interesting how the chapter began with "Do not give your strength to a woman," and that's going on with Will and his wife and all that right now. But the rest of the chapter talks about the proverbial woman, taking care of her home, understanding making her own clothes, understanding taking care of her, children. Children should rise up and call her blessed. So yeah, I never really I always heard about the Proverbs. Supposed to look for a Proverbs 31 woman. But even in all that good, it starts off never give your strength to a woman. So the man has to understand
not
the
only it
order,
started off
the
with that,
the
it
the
said,
the order that God has ordained. You know what I mean? So we're not going to take away from what she's bringing to the table and her strength, but we have to understand who is the head. And I'm not talking to a dictator type, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying what God ordained for us. We have to understand our position in the family, in the community, or in our household. You feel me? So yeah, that's wild.
but the funny part is how he explained it, like saying even to get how he explained woman was like the guy who get her. Wow, like let's see if you find her. Like it was almost impossible.
Man, because she's hidden. Especially think about 2022, bro. I was just thinking, like, I can say this because no one knows, but I had a homeboy DM me yesterday. He wanted to call. I was thinking about him because we haven't connected, but he was saying how he was, bumping heads with his wife. He was thinking about leaving her and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I was trying to explain to him, I was where he was 2 years ago. I was where he was at. I was really considering
What was going on? Just
leaving
yeah.
my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like I find a new one, and
Hmm.
we'll just take care of our kids together. This and this and that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Now, and I just want to. I just was thinking about that because like I just want to talk to him. Every situation is different, so I'm not trying to save it, but I'm just saying what I'm saying is that you gotta think you've been married for X amount of years. going back into the world now single,
Mm-hmm.
man, you are food.
And then
You
you
know,
looking for something
I'm
that's
not
on a
saying
certain stature.
that's what I'm saying. So half the women right now, very rarely do they cook, clean consistently. You know, they gonna have, you're not gonna look real good, but they're not gonna do this and they're not gonna do that. So I'm saying my thing is with my man, I'm gonna tell him like, look, man, you know, if you could fix it with your wife, y'all get it together, and you know, it's still gonna be a give and take. Because even when I just can talk for me,
Mm-hmm.
I sat down with my wife and her parents, and I explained to them, it's just not working out. You know, bumping heads, this and that. The first thing they told me made sense. They said because they're ministers, they counsel, people in broken marriages all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They said it hasn't been any infidelity. You didn't go make a baby, and there's other relationships that overcame those
Mm-hmm.
type of infractions. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So it's not that bad. But even when it's that bad, they were able to get over those humps. So
So what are we
I'm
really complaining about?
in my head, I got this mountain of real issues. Then I went to my mom and dad, and we sat down with my parents. And I know, like, we gotta drive a couple of hours. So and my wife over there crying because I'm saying I don't want to be with her, this and that. And she started crying like, yo, you know how we came down here? You know what's going on? Um, I'm just tired. I just can't keep hearing you say you don't want me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, then I had to stop again. Like, yo, why do I keep saying this?
Mm-hmm.
Because I kept saying it verbally because I'm trying to make myself believe it. Because the last thing I want in my life is to have my family broken up.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, now I gotta check myself because I keep saying it verbally to make myself believe it. Because really, the last thing I want is my
Mm-hmm.
family broken up. So I had to come to apologize to her and really get myself together. Like, okay, what's the real, like you said, what's the real issue?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, it could have been anything, but I had to, just
Pinpoint
stop
what was,
and not,
yeah.
yeah, and not just move off emotion. You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna make this. One of my favorite quotes to say, they say, "Don't make a permanent decision on a temporary situation."
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So like I was telling my partner, I did him like, yo, I was just where you was at, and I was telling him that he was actually didn't pick up the phone because he was like, yo, I'm in a heated argument right now. I told him if it's possible, stop arguing so you can clear your mind a little bit. We can get as men, we can get defensive, and we got to get our pointer out. We got to win the fight, win the battle. But I'm like, yo, if you can, just stop fighting, and let your mind rest, and then that would allow you to
Hey,
direct which way to go. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, I don't feel like I'm Dr. Phil with this and that, but I
no,
just feel
here
like
he
I could.
go. He love chaos. He ready to chime in. Go ahead, old Richard.
I'm listening. What are you talking about, man? I'm listening. I'm chilling.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
right. You know when they
So I
get
was
the
just saying, my man, I
relationships,
was
you
just
be
trying to
ready to
tell my
go.
man, like I was just like to just speak with him, like, look, if it's anything you could do to keep your thing together, I'm for that. Because right now, I mean, man, I'm listening. I be on Instagram all day, seeing what's going on the internet, like, but these women ain't worth nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like you've been with your wife for X amount of years. If you can get that back strong, you better off staying with them because you might go find somebody, look better, this and that, and then get home. They're not gonna keep your house clean. She might have her DMs open. You dig what I'm saying?
It's what do
All
you
kinds.
value? What
Yeah,
do
you
you
see what I'm saying?
value?
All kinds of things to go. Like you think you getting something sweet, but it's not that sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
mean,
Yeah,
get something
man.
better if you lower your values and your tastes. What are you gonna
that ain't
consider?
gonna be better.
What do you
That's what
consider?
I'm
That's what
saying.
he's
Like,
saying. What are
man,
you considering better? Like in reality,
exactly. Especially if you got history and shorties
he's saying for
together
you
and
to
all
get to
that.
that level, you had to get to that level. It had to be a bond built.
But this is
So,
the
Yeah.
thing, though. This the thing that I take from it. Like me personally,
hmm
um, like with all the promiscuity and everything, like I regret it now to the 10th power. And
Yeah.
then knowing now when a man leaves his mother and father, he cleaves to his wife. So it's
Right.
like, okay, so when you're courting a female culturally, like just how a lot of things are upside down or have been taught or whatever, like
hmm
generationally and within our this society. because it's not like this everywhere around the world. So basically, you're courting a female, right? So just say when with you courting a female, yeah, you know how when we were younger they had like first base, second base, third base, home run. So like yeah, with the females that you're courting, you know you kissing, you doing
I
whatever.
wanted to know what this
But
nigga
then
was saying with courting. I'm sorry.
courting is
You
dating,
already
basically. Courting is
explained that
dating.
this nigga going courting, like courting.
Yeah.
All right, we all got terms.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically, so basically, in the process of that, with you dating these females and everything, right? But you haven't been physical with them. Then, you know, once you connect and you bond with the one that you know that you're
That you
destined
choose.
that you're destined to be with, that you choose and it chooses you, and
Mhm.
then you both when y'all lay together and have sex and your spirits connect, right?
Mhm.
You don't know anything or anyone prior to that, basically. So just with that alone, that bond and that strength and everything, like,
But what we
and
got to remember,
I
those are the
learned.
highs of the relationship. So, like he's saying, through the test of time,
Yeah, but
you
at the end of
question
the
it.
day, this is all I'm saying in that aspect, in my opinion. Like in this society structure that we're in, and
Mhm.
within our culture, we don't know because we weren't raised that way. So we don't know what it's like just to for on not just with our people, but it's also a class level. So it's like so
We don't know what I'm
we
trying to
don't know
get.
what we don't know that that feeling in that course because we didn't follow that structure basically. When you follow that path, then you're able to like
I'm trying to
have the
understand.
experience of it. You get what I'm saying?
No, I'm really trying to get you what you're saying because you're saying basically when you're dating somebody and you're trying to get to that point, and when you feeling them out, and after that, you kind of lost me.
I was basically saying the way, in my opinion, the way that
Mm.
everything is designed, the way that we're designed, the way that God intended it, is for us basically not to have sex until we marry. That's basically the
Nah,
moral of
man,
the
I don't
story.
believe in that shit.
All
I don't
right,
believe
well,
in
let
that
me
shit.
just finish.
I hear
You
you.
asked me
I'm
my
asking
point,
you
but
what
in
you
the
was
process
getting
of me
to.
making my point, you cutting me off, telling me what
I
you don't
agree. I
believe.
agree with
But I'm
Benga.
telling you what I believe. So how you
I
And
cut
be
I'm
me off to
saying,
tell me what
okay,
you believe
I
if you asked
didn't.
me what I believe?
I asked you because could you get to what you were saying because I wasn't understanding. And then when
No,
you
I
said
agree
And
you,
then
with
I
Benga.
and
told
when
you,
Can
and
I
listen,
then I
chime in for
then
two
you did
seconds?
tell me you can't. When you told me, I just said I don't agree with that, bro. That's
No,
just my
Ben.
opinion.
Let me
I
just chime in for
understand
2 seconds.
yours.
I
Turn your mic on. You got
let
to
me
turn your mic off like a little kid. Raise your hand when you want to say
let
something.
me.
You
But
no,
on
you
listen.
talk
punishment.
about a little
You
kid,
on
but Pop
punishment.
is
Turn that
talking,
mic
you
off.
talking, and I'm talking. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do that, my nigga. Like
Benga.
Go ahead,
And
Pop. Go ahead, Pop.
why I think you're right is because when you do have sex before you're married, you having sex, it kind of filter your thinking. You understand what I mean? You're thinking off of, like desire and not really wanting to be with this person. So you understand what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think,
it's a lust.
yes, you
It's a
got to learn
lustful
how to,
thing.
you know what I mean? Is this somebody that I could tolerate? So that, you know what I mean, you always gonna have that in your, oh man, but man, oh man, so yeah, I want to marry, you understand what I mean? So I think that's probably how
Yeah, I love y'all, man.
it
and
was back then. But yeah,
as far as culturally,
I
all
yeah.
right.
love
So
y'all, man.
when we break everything down
Nobody
culturally,
said, bam, nobody said you should do it. I'm just saying from just natural, you understand what I mean?
I
Whether
understand
we
your
follow it or not,
opinion.
I'm just saying.
I understand your opinion. You said that. I just said my brothers is bugging.
Yeah.
You said that you believe that also. You shouldn't have sex with any female until y'all are married.
it
So
ain't.
you shouldn't have.
It's not. It's
You
Now
not
with
shouldn't
the
have
just
one you
sex.
want to
you
marry
having.
to.
Go ahead, man. I can listen. I can listen. I just
Go
asked a
ahead.
question. Go ahead.
Now, what I'm saying, all I started it off by saying is that, in my opinion, this is what I believe, and I'm deducing that off of my life as far as my
Experience.
experiences with promiscuity, me being with Buttercup now, our bond, and everything, and then me reflecting back, like I could have been here and been with her the whole
Mhm.
time. And I didn't have to do any of that other shit because none of that was worth it. Ain't none of them thinking about me. That energy, those spirits are all connected to me now. But
Mhm.
because I'm consciously aware of it, I'm able to rise above all that. But spirits, when you lay with someone, those spirits, that spirit, that attachment is on you, whether you know it,
Soul ties,
agree,
soul ties.
soul ties. So there's a sermon that I watched with Phil from the hood, from 46, and it was a sermon by Juanita Bynum, and it was on the title of the sermon is No More Sheets. So she breaks it down like this. She's basically like, okay, so you out there doing your thing, mixing and meshing, you laying with this one, laying with that one. As she's telling the story, she's on the stage wrapping sheets around her body, around her waist. And then she's like, so the analogy, not verbatim. So she's like, yeah. So then you get to a point, you get right with the Lord, you clean yourself up or what have you. So, you run into one of your old flames or whatever, and you looking at him, you see he got the little lint, teeth or whatever the case may be, like how she described it. But you know what I mean? Not your thing or not your type. And you looking like, oh man, what happened? What happened to him? Or what happened to them? Then nothing happened to them. You in the light, you in a different space now in your life, but they look the way they was looking then. You know what I'm saying? But because you've outgrown that and you move from that, basically, you get what I'm saying? You able to now see the difference. And then that was a breaking. I take that in the analogy of that having been a breaking of a soul tie, basically. You know what I'm saying? But I believe all of that is real, man. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be able to know the difference now. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm grateful for. I'm no longer dwelling on like the errors or the mistakes. I'm focusing and grateful for the difference in my perception and knowing the error of my ways, basically. And it's like, can't have a story if you ain't done shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't know what's right if you ain't fucked up and
You
got into the
contradicting
wrong
yourself
stuff.
now.
How? I didn't contradict myself.
Because the start of your conversation is basically that you shouldn't experience anything until you're ready to be married. So now you're saying you want to know or you should have practice, or so that's a contradiction.
How is it a contradiction, nigga? If I'm telling you I didn't been promiscuous and laid with so many females, I can't go back and change that, nigga. So it ain't no contradiction.
No,
If I was born, if we
I
were kids and we were able to be born again, and I was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do what I did in my past life," that would be a contradiction. But I didn't already done this shit, my nigga. I can't go back and do how I was supposed to do it. So how is it a
I
contradiction? I'm
said
not
I
justifying it.
said your last statement, not the whole the theory on you going
What
on.
part? Being
When,
grateful
when,
for the experiences.
when you're saying yeah, and you have to learn things along the way, then that goes into the same. So I'm not saying. So you think that the energy involved in sex is all that is based in, as far as a wife or a marriage? If I can ask you on top of that question, since y'all said y'all believe
Realistically,
y'all believe
like
that that's the
procreation and that, yeah, that was the purpose. Like that's the purpose. Like I believe that God did not in no religion form or anything, spiritually back to the soul ties, because that's your soul, that's your spirit. Like, so that spirit and soul thing, like I believe based upon that, like, yeah, you you know what I'm saying, when a
so you
when a
believe you have
man
one match.
when a man, it's not even about one match. Once you're matched, that's the match. You don't know
That's
anything
one
else. So
match,
you're
bro. I'm
so you're
saying
building and growing together. So yeah, one
that's
match or
one.
whatever you
That's
call it.
one. You
How?
believe there's one person that there is for you. Your one
Yeah, well, I
spiritual
mean,
connection,
well,
and
I mean,
until
it
you
ain't
find that,
natural. It ain't natural for like an American society to have multiple wives. I mean, in that sense, like wife, divorce, wife, like that kind of
I'm
thing.
not even
So
talking in the sense of wife.
no,
I'm
I
talking
was,
in the
I
sense
was.
that you believe in that is one spirit that's here, that's meant in this world, that's meant for you to connect with.
A soulmate. Yeah,
It's one female in
a
this world.
soulmate is one. That's singular.
I understand. This is what I'm saying. This is what you believe.
Soulmate is one, singular. Like, yeah, like I
You
believe that.
believe that's how we were sent here with one soulmate in mind, and we were supposed to just roll
Yeah,
around this earth
but
until we caught it.
sometimes
I
that
mean,
could be
well,
some.
not
I
written
No,
think
in
it's
I'm not.
stone and
everybody.
all
I'm not.
that, granted,
I'm
nigga.
not
But I'm saying
knocking
the
it. I'm
concept of
asking
that.
you, is that the
It's not
theory?
about. Yeah, I'm not saying you knocking it either. I'm saying it. I'm saying it in the aspect of not written in stone or whatever, but the concept of that. Yeah, and you're like, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know everything or whatever,
Hey,
We.
but
yo,
I'm
let
I'm
me
kind
not
ask
of
you
saying we
this. Let me
breaking
building
ask
any
you.
on
laws.
Let me ask you this.
that
We
part.
both
Let
are
me ask
making
you this,
our
Banger.
opinions.
Hey, Land, let me ask you this. My sister asked me this question on Sunday. Do you think that your soulmate and the love of your life is the same person?
Mm.
What? I mean, you get
Right. Oh, you want me to
I
answer?
was
You
I was
already in
basically
this sense.
saying answer
You
the
should be
question,
able.
man.
You should be able to answer it right away because you
What you
believe that you
talking
only
about,
have
nigga? You
one
just
soulmate. So you believe the love of your life
man.
and your soulmate should be the same. I believe. Now I'm thinking about it. Do you believe that the love of your life, does the love of, of your life even have to be somebody that you connected with as far as it couldn't be a family member? Like that's what I like.
Well, we just say significant other, but that's how she put it. Is the
Well,
love of your life and your soulmate? Do you think that's the same person, or
yes, it
could it be
has to
the
be the
same?
same.
I mean, me personally, I would see it as the same person, but love of your life to me, in my opinion, is a terminology. Soulmate is like in stone kind of thing because we have a soul, spirit, physical body kind of thing. But love of your life is like a terminology to me. That's something that we would create. But a soulmate, we didn't create that. Like, you know, I mean, maybe that terminology, but soul we didn't. But love, you know what I mean? So I would just put it as the same just because of me being who I am, like kind of thing. Like,
Right.
I'm kind of optimistic. I don't believe in that shit. Like, not saying it like that. I don't believe it's like one person that was here for you and you missed an opportunity by not catching that person. And I don't believe, like, I couldn't tell you the love of my life and I didn't live my life. I couldn't tell you my soulmate and not have a couple that I can make these decisions from. Like, I couldn't tell you what was the best fit for me like, because there's a difference between what's good for me and what's good for me.
Hmm.
And this is both in feeding my ego or feeding my spirit. You feel me? You can do things that you believe that's good for me, and they don't help me evolve or do anything that's really good for me. So, in your intentions, it is like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't. I don't believe in it just being one person. I don't think that you're gonna find the perfect person that you're gonna have everything just to align and connect with. And I think over time and as you grow, because those things change as we grow.
Yes.
Right.
Like at
That's
like 15, a nigga wouldn't have no question about my wife. Wife, nigga, I ain't never in my life get married, bro.
yeah.
17, 18, I ain't having these conversations. So in retro, you grow and everything changes as you grow. So it's all a growing experience. That's like you coming to a woman and like y'all saying, we 40 years old, 45 years old, I find out I'm gonna be your wife and I don't know nothing about you. Meaning, as far as I never been with a woman, I never been around, I never, experienced this, so I don't know nothing about you. Because and that's right. I don't know if that's right.
But even in that same breath, land, it's like sometimes you can meet somebody and everything just click. You know what I mean? So even with them not knowing you, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like, I was telling her like your soulmate, it ain't gonna be no infractions. It's gonna go, everything gonna be so smooth. You're gonna click on all levels. But the love of your life might be the person that you with now, and like you said, that you build it with now, and
Mhm.
that's who you agreed to link up with until you did.
Like
So
by you saying
Nah,
it
but
like that, and where you
now
giving
I
me
was,
that analogy, I can think of it. I'm sorry, Papo. I can think of it about the love of my life being the one, and my terminology of helping me build, and my
yes,
soulmate to be just the one that I probably you never knew, but spiritually that was your.
or somebody like you said, or somebody you click with, like you could
Mhm.
remember somebody you just know everything. Just the stars align. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like so. There was another term I heard years ago. They say the person that loves you and the person you love are never the same person. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
sometimes you just don't end up with that, and you have to, you still can have a beautiful life with whoever you
Hmm.
link up with, and like you said, decide to build with, and all that. That's the love of your life. But a soulmate is somebody who is just like, I don't know really. You know what I
Nah,
mean? Like everything's clicking. It's not gonna be any infractions. Like
Hmm.
everything is going smooth. You know what I mean? Like,
nah. To me, it has to be the same person. Even if you get married, that's just the person you got married to, and
but
this
it
is
can
who you
be
end
for
up with.
some
It has to
people,
be.
but it's
It
not
has
gonna
to
be
be.
every relation. It's not gonna be for every relationship. I'm saying it can
I
be.
hear you.
Some people get that lucky and they knock it out the park the first time. You got people that been married like they was high
And
school
may
sweethearts,
knock it
junior
out.
high sweethearts. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's what I'm
your
saying.
soulmate and the love of your life is the same person. Whether it works out or not,
You
you
can
will
make
move
them
on to.
the same person. You can't probably
Yeah,
make them the same person, but you might not
and
get.
not, sometimes they
I'm
not
taking out of
are
it. You're not getting the same energy. Like the love of your life
right.
sometimes will be the one who helped you build. My soulmate, me and this bitch could have been broke together forever, and it would have been the best thing in life. But we would have been broke. She didn't bring
Or
the
y'all,
best out of me.
was toxic, crazy. You know what I mean?
This didn't bring the best out of me. You feel
You
me?
feel me?
It was the
But
best
but how
situation.
could you how not to cut you off, man? How could it be if it was toxic? Because of both the energies were the same? Like you came together
I'm just
like
Because you
saying
love
some
them
people
both.
just. I'm
You
just saying
love them
some
both.
people
So
just
for you not
click.
to
You know what I
click
mean?
with one, gotta be, I guess,
yeah,
something off.
because they click with they toxicity in each other.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everything just like it's
But
not gonna be. It's not gonna be like I don't know.
y'all
It's
crazy.
a
Y'all
crazy
telling me
question.
y'all want to just have one. You wanted to come up to Buttercup. At 46, my bro, walk up to her. I'm ready. I figured this out. Da 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 da. Been living
Yo,
this
check it.
whole life, but you know what? I never put it in. Buttercup might look at you different.
Nah, but check it though. Let me
No,
tell
I'm
you.
just.
No, let me say this though. The ill thing is we met when I was what, no more than like 19, 20. And she's a year older than me. You feel what I'm saying? And that same energy and that same spark that we had then,
Mm-hmm.
we never lost. And when we reconnected, it was like never skipping a beat. But
Mm-hmm.
the interference and the ups and downs was all
Mm-hmm.
over here. Not like there's no one perfect, but it was all over here, and it was all over here because of them soul ties and that
Mm-hmm.
energy and all of that other stuff that I had mentioned.
You
So
just
I
having to
would
grow.
pardon,
You just
Right.
having to grow.
And mature.
right? But
Reg-
what I'm saying in retrospect, right? Had I slowed down, because I was on the move before I had got to her, like.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Based upon everything I didn't broke down.
You
So
saying I had her from day one, bro. So it
had
could
I
have
been
been
able
that.
to see, had I been able to see her, I wasn't able to see her because of the blockage. You get what I'm saying?
The same thing I
Yeah,
just said. No, because at
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, I wasn't looking for marriage.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But I
So
always
you
was
had to
looking
you
for
had to
that.
go through
I
that,
was
Benga. You had to
always
go through that
Hmm?
to
right.
appreciate who she was.
That's what I said. That's
And
why
that
I was
kind of
saying.
almost,
That's why I was saying before. I didn't see it as a contradiction. That's why I said that to Lance. But in hindsight, I could also understand where that where it appeared to be that way. But it's like, but yeah, not to even start, not even to ramble, but yeah, we all on the same page.
Yeah.
Basically, like now, that's basically what it is, man. Like I
I got
appreciate
you.
I appreciate everything, uh, um, more and everything, and I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for the second chance, more or
Yeah.
less, like the
Se-
opportunity. You
Second
get what I'm
question,
saying?
my good brothers. So how long would y'all have waited for your wife if you never had sex? Meaning, You
For
niggas had.
For that Proverbs 31 joint, like we
I'm
was
just.
talking about, and
We
how
not.
Hog was like, I always heard about, for
Yo,
that
you just come in
virtuous
here and mess my shit up,
Proverbs
right?
31 joint, I would have waited as long as you get what I'm saying? As long as I had to. Had
I
I
hear
been,
that now. In
what you
reality,
asking now, nigga? What you
no,
talking about,
I'm
nigga?
talking.
Now. We dealing in now, nigga.
Oh, so now you're gonna try to tell me so I'd have been a virgin all the way to 46.
You
All right,
supposed
you
to.
want to cheat? No problem. You, Papo, where you would have cashed out at?
Nah, I ain't doing none of that. But what I'm saying is,
How long was you willing to be a virgin? That's the basic question.
nah, I'm not willing to do none of that. I'm
You
just
said you would have waited for one person to have sex with and get married, and you not married at this date. So that means you would still be a virgin, right or wrong?
Married at this day.
Yeah.
I think it's
He
like
echoed
this.
that. You
I
heard him.
don't
You
believe
heard him
that's I
pop.
don't believe in all that. I'm just
Nah,
saying that I don't believe it
nah,
because you're
nah.
supposed to.
He said
You
he could see
supposed to
the
as a
importance of
teenager.
it.
You supposed to. So all of that, actually, you supposed to.
Who says you support the teenagehood is the last age you supposed
What
to
I'm
do
saying
in that
is
realm, nigga.
because
For real.
lack of that.
What are you saying
You
you're
weren't even
supposed to
fully
do?
developed as a
Hold up,
teenager, nigga.
Papo. What
What?
argument are you fighting? What are you saying you're supposed to
No.
do? You supposed to have sex as a teenager?
Yeah.
So now so what I'm supposed to get married as a teenager? What
No.
argument are you fighting
What
for?
I'm saying is you could try
Nigga, you
different
have the
flavors, and then once you find a woman you want to get married to, then you don't. You understand what I mean?
You should say
how
yes to marriage. You said that's a good idea. You think that's the way it should be. So now how are you telling me you should have sex as a teenager?
nigga pop. You want your daughter having sex as a teenager,
I
pop?
mean,
I ain't gonna have no daughter.
No, do you have a daughter? If you have a daughter, you would want your daughter
you
having
messing
sex
it.
as a teenager?
You messing
This is just
now. Stop.
this is the world, man.
Let me
I
get rid of
can't control nothing.
You can't not
What I'm
controlling
saying
it.
is
I'm
they
saying
going if
like
that's what they want to do, they're gonna do it anyway. This and then all of that trying to be strict. Them are the girls that's loose, wild. You understand what I mean?
Right.
You
that's a
just gotta
theory.
talk them through
That's a
it. Like,
theory
listen,
though.
don't be going out here, blah, blah. You could, you know what I
Nah,
mean?
that's a theory. That's a theory that the
It's
ones that you
true.
no, it's not true. Especially if you ain't got no kids, you can't say it's true. There's plenty of parents that have
I've
raised their daughters like that, and they did okay. There's plenty of parents that did, and the kids didn't listen.
I've
So it's
seen some
on a
strict
different
ones.
spectrum.
I've dated
I
strict
wrote it down.
parents, and
Little
I'm
girls
telling you,
do what the little girls see. And the shit you can't hide when you're trying to ball free. You want to drink at the bar, now mommy leave, come back with the ring. What, mommy on the knees? And now and that's why you do the same things. That's the more like this child foolish. So we are done that they don't see the steps. You think it just done. So much steps of doing it. Your mom went out. She got those habits, little things. That's what you're trying to say about.
hello,
That's what you was trying to say about.
y'all breaking up. I can't hear.
You was breaking up. I said, was that what you was trying to say? Am I breaking up, Ben?
That's you, Lynn.
Yeah,
This
you
nigga
froze.
being crazy. I told you
You
this
froze.
nigga disrespecting my ears.
Yo,
I had to get out and get
Not
back
bad.
in because
you might have to.
Nah, not yet. You're gonna have to go out and come back.
Froze like that.
nah,
Yeah,
your voice is breaking up. Your voice
All right,
breaking up.
good.
And you've been froze.
I'm about to freeze because my phone about to die.
Video out.
Yo, pop.
Log out and come back.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yo, pop, your screen name still be
Huh?
killing me, man.
What happened?
Your screen name still be killing me.
Oh,
Yo, that's never gonna
I'm
get
about to
old,
put that
man.
on a shirt.
Nah, but yo, yo, you know what's ill though is I'm telling you, he described and broke down the disorder that he was diagnosed with, and I believe that was part of the
Have y'all ever seen that movie?
Richard and
The Richard movie? Have y'all seen that Richard
Nah, I
movie?
don't intend to watch it.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
I want to
No,
check it out. I
I
never.
haven't seen it yet either.
Hey, I just haven't. I just don't slow down and watch TV a lot, but I want to see it though.
Yeah, I don't intend to watch it. I don't know. I'm not a big tennis. I don't know. It's
Well, I
maybe
said, go ahead,
eventually I
check
might.
it out. Just gotta
I
do
don't know.
that shit. All right.
Bam, you
Yeah.
watched that movie that Will Smith did, Richard, King Richard? You watched that?
Hell yeah, that's my shit. That nigga got it. He deserved that Oscar. That was real.
What's that
I
on? What's
fuck
that
with that.
on? What's that on? What's that on?
It was
Netflix?
on HBO Max.
He didn't do a better
Nah,
job. He didn't do a better
listen,
job than
bro.
Jamie.
All you do is go like you doing, like you going into the device, and when you're about to go to the device, tell me and give me the code, and I'll send you through.
I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
I didn't see the movie, but I don't think he did it better than Jamie Foxx and Ray.
Yes, he did, brother.
For real?
Yes, he did.
Nah, ain't nobody do
That yo, if you know what that nigga Richard did for them kids, yo, that nigga, yo.
Not the story. You see, you getting caught up into what he did at the story, as
But
the
I
story,
wouldn't
the
pay
acting. I'm
attention to
talking
the
about the
story
acting.
if your job wasn't exceptional. You act like I know Richard. You got me talking like
That's
I'm
what I'm
talking
saying.
about Richard,
So
man.
that's what
So
I'm
for me to
saying.
know,
You hooked
for me
on.
to know a character, Richard, you had to play this man
Yeah,
well.
but that's what I'm saying. So you hooked on to the
And the nigga
story.
ever say, yo,
I'm talking
yo,
about.
that
Yo,
nigga
I gotta see
Omar
this
come out.
movie.
That's what I'm
I
Omar
gotta
come
see
out
saying.
with
this
them
movie.
guns. It's over. When they
So
paint
that's what
that
I'm saying. So
scenario,
that's why I
Omar, you
said
think
Jamie
about The
Foxx.
Wire, right? Guns coming out. This shit real.
No, listen. That's why I'm saying Jamie Foxx
Yo, bro, I
portraying
understand what you're saying.
Ray
And
was
that Bumblebee
crazy.
nigga,
So I don't know
that
Richard. I don't know if Richard. They could have exaggerated Richard. That Richard probably ain't. You know what I mean?
he said
He probably
Richard
not
Pryor.
like that.
I'm out of here, B. The man is not Richard
Richard
Pryor.
probably quiet.
Richard not Pryor, man. This is Richard is Serena and Venus Pops, man.
You know how Hollywood do.
This is the Pops, man.
Yo.
This nigga, yo, once you see how this man sat back and played this man, how this man, like, even when you thought he was dumb and you was gonna manipulate him and treat him like a jigger, like it wasn't happening, bro.
You locked into the story. I'm telling you, I understand what
I
you're
can
saying.
only get locked into the story by the actor selling this character to me, man. What are you not understanding?
So
It ain't shit that you.
okay. So
It
listen.
ain't shit that you did.
So listen, right,
That
Ben. Let me ask you a question. So,
I love you, Pablo. Come on, let's
in
argue.
Paid in Full. So you think was it Woody Harris
Woody Harrison did a
had
great
a
job.
on
Yes.
point?
No, he ain't got A on point, but he did a good job. Yes.
Telling the story. So I mean, locked into the story. That's what I'm
God,
saying.
bro. He did
But
a
what I'm
good
saying
job.
is, why? Listen, just please. What I'm saying is, Jamie Foxx mannerism with Ray, yo, that joint was crazy. I'm telling you,
It was
just
crazy.
everything
You're
was
right.
crazy.
You're right. You're
That's
right.
why
But
I'm not talking about the
I hear
story.
what you're saying. But I am not looking to know about that guy in real life.
So
You feel me?
the
Jamie
movie.
did not.
So the movie
Listen,
was a great movie.
Jamie did not make the character touch me where I said, "Damn, bro, yo, that nigga was around. B, let me see who that nigga was, and now I want to see him or see the real character that he played." No, didn't do
Yes,
none of
because
that.
it's a difference. You talking about two different stories.
No, to somebody else. He didn't bring me into that brother's life. Hurricane, Ruben Hurricane Patterson, Denzel played it great. Made me want to see
great.
Hurricane. Denzel played that nigga great. You want me to go to another character that was played great than me? I'm bugging out again. I don't know if it's,
Yeah,
if it's
you
my
is, but that was a good point, man. Because I thought Denzel played Hurricane better than he did my man on
Training Day.
You know, yeah, man.
Nah, Jake ain't nobody play. Jake was nigga Jake.
Nah, Jake was the white boy.
Nigga Jake.
But that's because that's
White
like
boy.
a fictional character. Even though he rode around, he saw what was going on. That was a character he making up. Hurricane, that's somebody's life.
Nah. I was mad they gave Denzel the award for Training Day over Hurricane, son. Like that.
Nah, he should have won it for Malcolm X.
I'm with
He
you
did
on
it.
that. I'm with you
Malcolm
on that.
X.
I'm with you on that, Land.
Yeah.
Malcolm X, man. Malcolm, what he did with
Yeah,
Malcolm X was
I know
crazy.
that, but
Malcolm X,
that was been over. That was been
but
over though.
Malcolm
You know
X
what I
is
mean?
something that I already like picture. Like if I was in Miss Francis' house as a little kid and word the mother, I'm looking at the picture today. I said, Miss Francis, why you got a picture of Denzel Washington on your wall? She said, that's Malcolm X. So I already knew Denzel was gonna play Malcolm. Like I picked that shit up from a kid. I think I probably put that into the world. I made that happen. For real. Because I'm like, yo, what's that Denzel on your wall for, friend? Yo, she died. She probably never even seen her like that. She looked at him after that. I was like, I know when Denzel played that nigga, she was like, this man Bam is crazy, bro. He really called that one. Because he looked at my
Yeah,
wall.
for me, I'm not. For me, I'm not too much of a big, huge Will Smith acting fan. Too much in his movies.
That's
Like
because he's a
Muhammad Ali was,
comedian.
it was a good because I love Ali,
Muhammad
but
Ali was
it's
great, bro.
yeah,
Don't do
he's to
that.
me. I'm not just certain
Muhammad
actors
Ali was
don't. I
great.
just don't take him serious. I just can't
And
because
take him,
I've seen him in another light. Like I grew up watching Will Smith the rapper. You understand what I mean?
yeah, but Michael
That's
Weston,
just
he
so I
didn't
can't
really,
really.
he
I don't know,
didn't funny, but he told the movies. He said,
huh?
Ali, I am legend. What else he said about Will? Yeah,
Nah,
Will
I Am
knows
Legend
that.
was good. I Am Legend was good. That was a good movie. I love
Yo, that was
I
a
Am Legend.
great
That was a
movie.
great.
That
Yeah,
nigga
I
made
love I
niggas
Am
like
Legend.
that nigga was just in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Who did
Hey
that
yo,
besides
hey,
Denzel?
What
I'm
happened?
about to lay it down, brother.
Okay.
Nah, it was a good one. I appreciate y'all. Nah, we just kept on after a while. I know I was gonna ask y'all about something, but y'all got to check out too. Go check out that Fresh.
Fresh what?
Fresh. The movie is called Fresh on Hulu.
Okay. It's
Check that out.
they used to have a fresh. They used to have a fresh. The old fresh or the new
Nah, it's
fresh?
not a new Fresh.
It's a new one.
You still there? Hello? Uh oh, Richard.